Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. My name's Shard. Welcome to 1 Foot of Books. 1 foot. Whoops. 1 foot of whoops. 1 foot of books. 30 centimeters. Give or take. Episode 7, I believe it is. This is kind of like the never-ending bookshelf tour. Kind of like Bob Dylan's never-ending tour. He just kind of keeps touring. I'll keep collecting books and may the videos never end. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to a stage where I'm just like, I'm on my last half foot of books. So yeah, anyway, what I do, the basis of the show, I will go and measure out 30 centimeters or 1 foot of books from my collection behind and around me. And just give you a little rundown on the books, if I've read them or not, where I got them, and any impact they've had on me, if any. And if you've got anything to say, hit me up in the comments below. Yeah, if you've got any books you want to recommend to me, I'm always open to new books. Got my cup of coffee here. It's almost 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning here in Sydney. Well, not in Sydney. Sydney's down the hill. I'm up in the Blue Mountains. And it is hot. It is autumn now, but yesterday was like the hottest autumn day in a couple of years. It was around 40 degrees where I was yesterday in Penrith, and not far off up this way. And today it's like almost 11 o'clock. It's probably sitting around 30 at least. So I'm a bit sweaty today. I do forgive, please do forgive me if you don't like the sight of sweat. I'm a sweater. What are you going to do? 1 Foot of Books, episode 7. Let's do it. It's kind of like my, it's like a trade paperback slash hardcover edition. So let's start at the top here. Jung and Taro by Sallie Nichols, with an introduction by Lawrence van der Post. I went through a bit of a Taro phase. I want to get back into them. I've got a few decks lying around in the bookshelves behind me, and I do like picking up weird Taro books. This one's all about the archetypes, the Jungian archetypes, and how they relate to mainly the major arcana of the Tarot deck. I have used this for tarot reading material, inspiration, that kind of thing. I like the tarot. I like it as a system. I think it's really cool. I think it's very interesting. It's very deep. So many different ways of using and looking and perceiving tarot. This is a good book. I have seen it around a couple more times since I found this at Salvo's Marrickville. Though it's originally from Adyar Bookshop, one of the great weird bookshops that is now no longer existing. Yeah, it was in Sydney, and a lot of bookstores closed, as they do. Yeah, this is a good book. As I say, it applies the Jungian archetypes to majorly the major arcana of the tarot deck, and very good if you're a tarot reader and you want some different insights, some different kind of inspirations and stuff. Highly recommend it. It is kind of easy to get. I've seen it around. John Sayles. John Sayles. This is a... How old is this book? It's pretty old now. This is the 2000 edition. I got this probably around about that time, maybe 2004. I got it for $4.95 at a one of those big book sales they used to have in Sydney, where they'd take over like a massive hall or a stadium and they'd just fill it with books and CDs back in the early 2000s. And now both of those things are kind of on, well, not on the outs, but they're a bit more specialized now. But I got this one because I'm a huge fan of John Sayles, the American filmmaker. I love his stuff. I haven't seen any of his movies in a long time, but I was very much in a John Sayles phase at that stage, and I do love his films. If you've never seen a John Sayles film, you probably have, you just might not have known it, but he's done heaps of great films. One of the ones that sticks in my mind is Limbo, I think from 99 or 2000. And Lone Star was the one that really introduced him to me. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since. Lone Star, I think, was like 96, 97. And Limbo was not long afterwards. But he's been making movies since the late 70s, early 80s. I don't know what he's doing now. But yeah, he kind of came up with Roger Corman. Roger Corman was making movies in the 60s and 70s, and he went and worked for him, as a few other major filmmakers now have done. Yeah, John Sayles. Seek him out. Find his movies. I would highly recommend Lone Star, Limbo. Brother from Another Planet is amazing. Make One was good. I'd have to watch that again. That was cool. Yeah. Check him out. He also wrote that really corny but awesome monster movie from the early 80s called Alligator. That was a cool movie. I watched it a lot when I was a kid. Norman Doidge. Doidge? The Brain That Changes Itself. I got this for Christmas one year. I still haven't read it. I did have 2 copies of this at some point. I don't know how. Haven't read it. It's all about neuroplasticity. How you can change your brain, train your brain. Which is a very good skill to have, and one that I should really work on more often. And I will read this book at some point. Stories of Personal Triumph from the Frontiers of Brain Science. Ursula LeGuin. I got this from the Salvos at Tempe Tip. Now, just called Salvos Tempe. Always Coming Home. It's a nice hardcover edition, still with the dust cover from, I believe it was 1987. Let me have a look. 1985, this one is from. This is an interesting book. That's as far as I got. I got almost halfway. I wanted to read it more. I wanted to like it more than I did. It was just, it gets pretty heavy, and it's kind of a little bit all over the, well, not all over the place. It's very directed. It's very, but it's very kind of niche as well. It's kind of like an anthropological exploration of a far future society that rose up after like a nuclear war or a massive upheaval to human society and the earth. Like earth changed itself, so it's set like far in the future around kind of mid-southern California, San Francisco way, and what it's become since then. There's still computers around, but locked away in underground bunkers. There's still technology, but it's very much shunned, and this kind of explores a tribal system that arose out of it, and these various tribes that live around what was the San Francisco Bay Area. It sounds interesting. It is interesting. It goes way into depth, though, into like exploring the tribe's rituals, their songs, and it's pretty heavy going when you just kind of want the story to keep going. It takes a lot of side track stuff, and it goes to different tribes and recounts different legends, and it's a very in-depth book. I want to get back into it because I do love Ursula LeGuin, and I did like this book, but it just got to a point where I was like, oh, you know, it was like the Two Towers with me. It was, oh God, another song. Do I have to read another song? I don't like reading songs. And I got to that point, and I was just kind of, I've got to read something else. This is too much. But I want to get back into it. Always Coming Home, Ursula LeGuin. Ursula K. LeGuin. Richard Pryor. Pryor Convictions and Other Life Sentences. This is his biography. Autobiography is an autobiography when you write it. Richard Pryor with Todd Gold. Along with the other one I have, there's another Pryor one, biography I have, which goes a lot more into the I don't want to say dirt, but the dirt of his history, into the earth of his history. This is kind of, you know, as brutally honest as Richard Pryor was, but he also kind of skated over a lot of things as well. I've read this cover to cover at least 3 times. It's a great book. He was a trailblazer, not a nice man, really, but funny as and brutally honest. One of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, easily. Yeah, a man of extremes. Yeah, good book. Good book. If you like Richard Pryor, even if you don't like Richard Pryor, he tells a good story. And this is basically, it's shorter than it should be. There's a lot more stuff. I found another Pryor biography, and that was twice this size and covered the same ground along with a lot of other stuff. And that was, I think it's a superior biography of him. But this is a great one by Richard Pryor himself. So it's in his voice. Yeah, good book. Great book. Great book. I think it originally came out back in the 90s. First published 1995. This is a 2005 edition. Yeah, love that book. Love Richard Pryor. The Sundance Kids. Got this from my mum for Christmas or a birthday one time. 2006. I haven't read it. All about the rise of Sundance in the 90s and the filmmakers that emerged out of it. Of course, Tarantino, Soderbergh, Alexander Payne, Spike Jonze, Sofia Coppola, and their associated films. Haven't read it. Looks cool. Maybe read it one day. I don't know. The Psychedelic Explorer's Guide. Park Street Press. If you don't have Park Street Press, they do a lot of stuff like this. This is from 2011 by James Faidman, PhD. Faidman, I should say. I think I might have read that much. I got this from New Dawn magazine to review. I believe I reviewed it by reading that much. Yes, you can review a book on less. I've had this weird relationship with psychedelics in that I could never get enough. And that literally, it's hard getting psychedelics in Australia. And I never got enough to properly explore it and want to read more about it. Yeah, psychedelics over the last, as long as I've been alive, kind of hard to get a hold of. And hard to do in what Timothy Leary calls set and setting. So good mindset, good set of people around you, and a good setting. Yeah, Australia and New Zealand, where I'm from, have a weird relationship with recreational drugs and alcohol, which is a recreational drug. In that, the culture is not, how can this help you into insights that make you a healthier human, but more so, how much can I consume to impress other people? And psychedelics suffered from that, from war on drugs, of course, as well. They were all outlawed, banned, starting to come back now for therapeutic practices. But anyway, back to this book. I read it ages ago, probably 10 years ago now. I read that much of it. I haven't really explored it because, like I say, my access to psychedelics and healthy use of psychedelics has never been that great. So I never really wanted to read more about it. If anyone wants to hang out and do psychedelics, let me know. We'll go for a bushwalk. I don't know, man. I don't know. No. Therapeutic. Therapeutic, of course. Sea Without Shore. A manual of the Sufi path. I got this at a little junk shop / bookshop on Regent Street in Redfern. Probably a good 10 years ago now. Regent Street, if you're from Redfern or you haven't been to Redfern for a while, Regent Street used to be this kind of rundown, cool street, but like on, a very busy road. But on either side were like a great series of like junk shops and like a skate shop, and you just go to these shops and they're just run by these old dudes that have been running them for 50 years, and there'd be clothes and books and toys and whatever people just wanted to sell in the area, you know. There wasn't really a Salvos or anything around there at the time. So there was a series of junk shops, and I found this outside in a junk shop in like a little book stall thing, and by Nuha Mim Keller. I've attempted to read this a few times. It's very much, while Sufism is part of the Muslim faith, and this is very much a Muslim, Islam-centered book around Sufism. So I've read little bits of it here and there, but not all of it. I do like having it in my collection though. It's a really cool book. Parts I have read are great. Sufism I am still very interested in, and it's I like reading about it every once in a while. I haven't seen any copies of this around anymore. From Sunnah Books. When was this published? XI 2011. Yeah. From the Quran. He is the first and last, the outwardly manifest and the inwardly hidden, and he well knows every single thing. Sufism, yeah. Cool. Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. I got this at the Salvos in Hunters Hill, back when I was working up that way. I had a PDF of it years ago. Interesting book. I don't know if to take it seriously or if it's a comedy thing. If any of you people are into like self-help and stuff like that, you have to read this book. It is, I don't know if it's a big joke, if it's like a piss take on the whole self-help system and industry, or if you take it seriously and you will become powerful. I think either works. I have read it and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, you can't say that. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. But then you're kind of like, no, if you want power, capital P power, you do what's in this book and you'll get it. You probably won't make friends doing it. You won't be a nice person by doing everything in this book, but you will become powerful. Here's some examples. I do like this book for both of those reasons. It's from the year 2000. No, sorry, first published 1998. This is a 2005 edition. Yeah, it's crazy. It's good. It's good though. It's good. I really recommend it. Law number 1: never outshine the master. Or always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite, inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. Law number 6: court attention at all cost. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd, then, or buried in oblivion. Stand out, be conspicuous at all cost. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colourful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. Law number 10: infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. Law 17: keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Law 30: make your accomplishments seem effortless. Law 42: strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Yes, I think, like I say, this can either be taken very seriously and you'll end up on an Andrew Tate kind of path, and power will be yours to a certain extent. Of course, you're going to have to deal with the ramifications of that power. Or you can read it with a lot less serious perspective. And there's lots of stuff you can glean from this book. Yeah, like I say, man, I don't know what his intention was with this. I want to talk to Robert Greene and go, hey man, is everything okay? No, because this is like 20 years old now. I want to talk to Robert Greene, see where he is with this and how he feels about this book. Yeah, great book. I would highly recommend it to anyone to read. In that it's challenging, and as I said repeatedly, you can take it very seriously and power will be yours, or you can take it a little less seriously, have a laugh, and use it to kind of disseminate popular cultural figures around, such as the Tates and people in the manosphere and stuff like that. They're using all this stuff. And it's not old stuff. It's been around for ages, but it's the application of it as well. So yeah, that's one for the books for today. It's hot. I've got to go out and run some errands and then go to work and go and sit in the beautiful air conditioning at work. Yeah. How's the weather in your parts of the world? Anyway, I'm out of here. Have a great week. I'll see you next time on One Foot of Books. Hit me up in the comments below, like and subscribe. I don't know if that does anything these days, but hey, can't hurt. And if you want to discuss any of the books that I've talked about today, hit me up in the comments. See ya.